Hans von Spakovsky, Senior Legal Fellow at Advancing American Freedom, one of the great constitutional minds of our time, now joins us on the Davidson Family Dentistry Newsmaker line to talk through it all. Hans, how are you, my friend?
Well, I'm okay. Not as good as I had hoped. I mean, we scored two out of three today at the Supreme Court, but that third decision, as you know, was extremely disappointing.
Brutal.
They got it wrong.
Yeah, brutal. I think Meatloaf once said it that 2 out of 3 ain't bad, but man, the one that they missed, it was just horrible. Let's begin there. 6-3 ruling, birthright citizenship. Samuel Alito says what you are saying, Justice Samuel Alito, that this court got it wrong. He said, according to the court, this is in his dissent, the 14th Amendment Citizenship Clause codified the British rule of birthright subjecthood with only one new exception, which was needed to accommodate the unique status of American Indians. That is a curious claim, and it is ironic that the court should embrace it only days before we celebrate the 250th anniversary of our Declaration of Independence, which emphatically renounced the foundation on which the British rule rested. So this majority is counting on the British Empire of 1775 to bail it out in this decision. What did you think of it all?
Well, he's right. And they basically, the majority, ignore the first, 50, 60, 70 years of the understanding of the 14th Amendment, the Citizenship Clause, that it did not provide citizenship to people who were simply born here, to parents who were here temporarily or illegally. They just ignore that. And, once again, unfortunately, who is it that has joined with the liberals to come up with this decision? I mean, this is written by Chief Justice Roberts, who gave us Obamacare.
Right. And
once again is joined by Amy Coney Barrett, who gave us the horrible decision yesterday on mail-in absentee ballots, also joined again by Roberts and the liberals.
Why, though? I know you've been reading through these decisions this morning. You've been all over this, but why? Why are they coming to this conclusion? I mean, first of all, John Roberts is no originalist, and Amy Coney Barrett is proving that she is not an originalist. This is not originalism, is it?
No, it's not. Like I said, they in their majority opinion, they just ignore the original understanding of the sponsors of this provision. I mean, Justice Alito, Justice Thomas have great dissent. Thomas basically analyze, and they eviscerate. I love that word. My colleague came up with it. They eviscerate the bad reasoning that's used by the majority in this opinion. And once again, I wonder whether Roberts really believes what he's saying, or just thought that politically, the consequences would be so bad that he couldn't come to the right decision. That's, as you know, that's what happened in the Obamacare decision. The Obamacare decision, he originally agreed with the 4 dissenters that it was beyond the power of Congress to do what it was doing. It wasn't constitutional, and apparently at the last moment switched his vote because he thought it would be too big of a political controversy if they did that.
That is a great point, the Obamacare side of this. And let me ask you this. We're talking with Hans von Spakovsky, Senior Legal Fellow at Advancing American Freedom. Hans also is a former federal election commissioner and worked at the DOJ and the Civil Rights Unit for a long time. Let me ask you this. Do you think that the justices, the conservative so-called justices you just mentioned, do you think that they learned a lesson, and not a good one, from Dobbs a few years back?
Yeah, I mean, I'm afraid that might also have influenced Roberts and Amy Coney Barrett. Now, Kavanaugh was also in the majority, except he wasn't quite in the majority. He basically was rather than concentrating on the constitutional issue, he was concentrating on the statute that talks about citizenship, and apparently believes that Congress could change the statute. But I mean, the end result is the same. Unfortunately, all these illegal aliens all across the country whose children are born in the United States are now considered citizens. I mean, the only way I really see that we can change this is through a constitutional amendment. And while you might get red states agreeing to this, there's not a single blue state that would approve that.
No doubt about it. These blue states and their representatives can't even put in the basic things that Americans have been asking for a long time. Basic election integrity issues, which we're going to get to in just a moment. But I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up this point. You know, the left in this country, over the Trump 2.0 era, have been talking about a great deal about packing the court. Oh my goodness, this conservative court, we can't have this. We're going to have to put more members on the court so we get the outcomes that we want. Do you think any of that will abate now that they got probably one of the biggest decisions that they were hoping for on their wish list?
No, they won't abate, because at the same time that we got this opinion, we've gotten a series of other actually good opinions from the court. For example, today, the court held that it's okay for states to say that biological men can't participate in female sports. And you know how much that is going to upset the political left, including Democratic leadership, because to them, transgenderism it's almost like a religion. It's a religious ideology, and they're going to be very upset about this. And they've been very upset about the series last week. We had some great immigration decisions, all 6-3 majorities that upheld President Trump's ability to enforce federal immigration law and secure the border, and the left has been very upset about those decisions, too.
All right, well, let's talk about the impact of this birthright citizenship ruling, and as you mentioned, the decision in RNC v. Mississippi yesterday. That ruling, of course, said Mississippi is just fine, and therefore California is just fine to have Election Day continue. The ballot counting continue in the case of California weeks after an election day, and that is very problematic. How much does this play into a greater urgency for the passage of the Save America Act? Is this Senate even going to listen? Because, quite frankly, they're on vacation right now.
Well, as you know, the biggest problem in the Senate are four Republicans who keep voting with the Democrats on the SAVE Act. But this decision yesterday really emphasized how important the SAVE Act is, because for all the faults in Barrett's opinion saying it's okay for states to count absentee ballots to come in after Election Day, that it doesn't violate federal law, she did make it very clear in her decision, Matt, that they were not basing their decision on the Constitution, simply on the federal statutes. And that means Congress can change those federal statutes. And as you know, that's one of the features of the SAVE Act, to say that in federal elections, absentee ballots have to be in by the end of Election Day. So that just gives added weight to why the SAVE Act needs to be passed.
Is it too late to pass the SAVE Act for this election coming up? My hunch is that Tom Tillis may be right on that fact. Is it too late? But can the Senate still work to get this in place, the SAVE Act, for the 2028 election? Because let's face it, Hans, the clock is ticking here.
I don't know why Tillis says it's too late. Look, we're at the beginning of July. The earliest early voting state in the country is Virginia. In Virginia, you can start voting 45 days before Election Day. if the Senate passed this bill in July, the president signed it immediately, that gives the states that allow this kind of thing August, September, October, 3 months to tell their voters, if you're going to vote with an absentee or mail-in ballot, you have to have it in the hands of election officials by Election Day. Why does he think it's too late? That's not that difficult a thing to do.
Yeah, no, I absolutely. And they could have done this, of course, much sooner, and they have failed to do that. There were other levers that I think they could have used, but they haven't, and we'll see. As always, sir, I appreciate your expertise on this subject. A lot to unpack here today, and I appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. Have a great day.